Alright, I'm gonna do a little bit of sanding on this thing today, and we're gonna pick up the pace just a little bit. I'm gonna block with 320. I've looked it over a little bit and it's looking pretty decent. I don't know if I'm gonna have to prime again. I don't see why I would, unless it's just a little bit of spot primer here or there. But everything looks fairly straight on it. Like this section over here, in the light it looked like it was ripply. So I did a quick block of it and it came right out. So I'm pretty confident they're close enough. So I'm gonna go over this with 320 and hopefully once it's hit with 320, I'm gonna go into 500 dry. We're gonna try to button this body up, get it ready to go. So I'll recap. I'm gonna hit it with 320 and hit it with 500 and see where we're at. But I'm thinking once the 500 is done, it'll pretty much be ready for paint. The roof, it's going to be a simple sand job up there. We're going to hit it with 320 on the DA, and if it doesn't need anything, it's going to get cleaned and painted. Yes, you heard that right, 320. I did my whole truck 320 grit DA, wiped it and painted it, and it looks good. The only thing you can see up here is this right here. You ain't gonna notice any difference anyways. It just give it a little bit more grip. But yeah, right in here, I'll hit that with 320, 500, and should be ready to go. I cut some of the seam sealer out. I'm not happy with the way it looked, so I'm gonna redo that. It wasn't as smooth as I expected, so I'm gonna redo that. And yeah, I'm hoping, well, today is Saturday. I'm hoping next week at this time we should see some color. Actually, I know we will, because I want to get the jams all done. Get all this sprayed. I want to get all the jams ready so we can get them doors put on. But yeah, I'm going to get to sanding here and see where we end up on this fine Saturday morning. I don't know how well it's gonna show up on the camera. If you can see those little bitty dots, that is the consistency of the primer. As I sand that down, you can see if there's deeper spots, it'll leave the little dots and then be smooth around it. And so far, all the way down is fairly consistent. So I'm pretty confident I should be able to block sand it with 320, make it smooth, and then take the sand scratches out with the 500. Now, there's another trick. I get these rags, they're, I guess, old t-shirts. I like them the best, but I'll put it in my hand like that, to where it's in between my hand and the body, and just roll across it. You'll feel anything that's out of the ordinary. You'll feel it better through that rag than you will your bare hand. That's beautiful. I don't feel anything in that. Now, you notice when I was sanding that, this has so many curves in it. It curves this way, then back, then this way. You want to keep that block as straight as you can, parallel with the lines. You do that, you're going to put a groove. You want to cross hatch it, which means sand this way and then this way. What that'll do is that'll highlight anything that needs work. A lot of people will put tape along your line and sand down to get your line straight. Personally, I don't like doing that. 2 reasons. 1, it wastes tape. 2, where it's sanded is a lighter color than where it's not. So when you're sanding, let that block come past it, keep it flat to this, let it come straight off, and you'll see that line. You'll see if it's high or low. Then when you come up from the bottom side, you do the same thing. You come up past it. If there's a low spot, that low spot will be darker. And as you can see, a little bit more sanding in here, but that was just a quick rough sand. My line's really straight. If you do get a low spot like that, it don't mean you have to put spot putty in it. Don't think that. This is about 14 inches long. That's why the longer the block, the better. It's the longest one I got of this style. I don't want to use the big SU-BURB block. These are so hard, you will actually put a groove in it. And it's so wide, doing that right there, it'll sand here and here and leave the center. Even though you're going across that, where you start and stop, it'll leave a groove. So use something like this. This is old packing, nothing expensive. You ain't got to go out and spend millions of dollars on blocks. A lot of people think you do, but you don't. See how that flows right inside that curve? That's what you want. You want it to follow that curve. Now, that groove right there, you don't want to leave it tight because you'll put a line right there. You want to pull that out to where this point, I don't know if you can see or not. This point is the only thing touching in that line. You don't want to put a lot of force, just let it sand. And like this right here, my fingers are down here and I'm letting it rest on them. That's keeping it up off of this and this at the same time and getting that line where I need it. And see, once you get that to where it's all feathered in right there, then you come back and go down to that line. Let it stop to it. when you hit down here, you want to stop. You don't want to let it down and go, because that'll come down and put a groove. This area right here on both sides, even before I cut the old quarter off, it had ripples all the way down it. I looked that over before I started. I wanted to compare before and after. The longer the stroke, the better. I think I got sidetracked on what I was telling you. If there is a low spot, the reason I said you want a longer block is because you can keep going like that over it. As long as you got a long stroke, you're straightening it out until you start seeing going through on different spots. That's when you'll need to do a little bit of spot putty or whatever you need. Both those lines feel really good. I'm keeping steady pressure on it. I'm not forcing it, but I'm not just letting it ride across the top, because then you're not doing nothing. I'm gonna bring you in here. All right, so you wipe it down like that. I'm gonna give you an example here. You wipe it down like that, it's all the same tone. Put this up here and go across it. It's darker, it's lighter. That means that's a low spot. See how I'm moving back and forth? I'm spreading that flatness out. I've been doing this so long, I can see as I'm sanding if I'm getting it down all right. But every once in a while, stop, wipe it down, and do it again. See, it's almost completely out. Hopefully that's showing up in the camera. So I can still feel it just a little bit right there. Yeah, see, I went through the top layer of primer right there, but it feels pretty straight. And then just go over the whole 2.8 million square foot to get it to that point and start over with the 500. You don't have to turn the air on, but it helps. It really does help. Curves are tricky, and you got to play it by ear of how it's sanding. Just don't want to put grooves in it, but yet you want it looking straight as possible over the longest area. And that's all I'm doing with the 320. I'm getting it flat and as straight as possible, and then I'll come back and just smooth it out with the 400. You gotta keep an eye on it. You don't want to go too far. So just keep wiping. Hey, I just realized this is the first video of the new year. It's not the new year yet, but by the time this comes out, it will be. I got a softer block for some of these curves. We're trying to cut some of the time down on this thing. If it was a show truck, it'd be totally different. I'd be blocking it with 220 and then going over it again with primer. But it's not a show truck. He's gonna drive this thing every day, and that's what I like. I like seeing these old vehicles on the road. That's what it's all about. Everything made today is just boring. Everything looks the same. It used to be Chevy's better than Ford, and Dodge is better than Chevy, and so forth. Now they're all the same. They all look like space cadets. They're all made in who knows where. I don't like anything new. I would much rather have 30, 35,000 in an old vehicle that's dependable than 100,000 in something that's going to be rotten out in a year with a bunch of broken electronics. Yeah, don't get me wrong, fuel injection's cool, but not if I have to work on it. Because I know nothing about it. I do have to say though, I like the LS that's in the Blue Mule. There's a few bugs that I got to work out of it, or have worked out of it, because I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm happy with an old carbureted motor. Yeah, all the vehicles now look like they're trying to be in some Star Trek or something. The new Chevy trucks are horrid looking. The new designers done lost their heads. I mean, as far as my newer stuff goes, I'm partial to the Dodge. Well, it's not Dodge no more, it's Ram brand. But even they're ugly. Man, this thing's coming out beautiful. All right, once I get down to this point, then I'll just take a piece of sandpaper, fold it over, and I'll go around all the edges, making sure everything's ready. Like this point, I sanded up and I sanded down. That very point didn't get sanded. So what I'll do is I'll take a piece of sandpaper and let the fat of my fingers, or fat of my palm of the hand, roll that and just go over it, and it'll knock that tip off of it. I gotta be honest, guys, I was kind of worried if this area was gonna be straight or not. Remember, I cut it in here and then down. There was a lot of work in this area, but yeah, that looks good. I'm just getting it close with the file board. Then I'll come back and go over the fine tune. But yeah, that impressed me. That come out real nice. Looks good. That's it, guys. I have had it. I am done. I'm not doing it no more. 2023 is done. Let's all pray for a better 2024. In all reality, today is the last work day of the year. And I cannot say how thankful I am to be here right now. The way this year has been, I didn't know if I was going to be in business by the end of this year. But I have to say, God has blessed me again with the ability to keep doing what I love. As far as I'm concerned, that is ready to go quickly with 500 grit and shoot it. I know there's a little bit of light, but that's okay because that's a light coated primer and it's a light color. I am going to paint this whole thing with white base coat first. And then I'll come back and tape off the line and do the yellow. I think it looks fantastic. I really do. I think it looks really good. Nice and straight. Even at 320, it's got a shine. But this whole side is going to be 500 grit. Up on top will be 320. What did I knock down? Ooh, cutoff wheel. That's one of those that one company sent me. Still haven't checked it. But, yeah, I think it's looking really good. I got both quarters up to that point. I didn't do that strip right there. This rocker, I got it done. I didn't get the other side. Didn't even give it a thought, but that's okay. There's still plenty of sanding to do. I got to do the jams yet. Come in here and touch up that seam sealer. And that good stuff. Man, there's going to be a lot of cleaning. I took the air hose and blew the inside out. Had the exhaust fan on. See, if you're over here and you turn that fan on with this door open, it sucks it all right there. That's why it's like that. And then the filter system's back there in that wall. If you're over there, you open the other door, same thing. It goes into that room. Yeah, that room gets really dirty really quick. But I'm going to get out of here for the year. And I'm not going to see this thing till next year. So, if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, leave me some comments, and join the chat. If you haven't subscribed to the other channel yet, go and do that. Because I am hoping, well, this week I'm going to be thrashing on this thing. I'm going to be hammered out. I'm hoping to see some paint by the end of the week. I'm hoping the following Wednesday I can do them floors live on the other channel. And I'll still video for this channel while I'm doing that, but I want to do that one live. And get everything set up, say Tuesday evening, to where I ain't got to do a bunch of running because I have nobody to run the camera for me. It's going to be set on a tripod and you'll see what you see. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. It's Saturday afternoon. I need to get my shower before the end of the year, I guess. I don't know. I ain't going nowhere, so. All right. Well, I will see you on the next one.